Hey guys, Spectre here, welcome back to some more Total Warhammer 3. Continuing my Luan Leon Kerr 100 turn AI Headstart campaign. We're just trying to deal with Kemmler, aren't we? There's a few enemies around here. What's this? What she want? No. I declared war on Kemmler earlier on and she cancelled our defensive alliance and fucked off because she's a coward. Scared an old man like Kemmler. Dwarves keep shitting on Kislev. Now normally I'd be happy to see that, but this particular case I'm not, because it makes them a wee bit scary. Oh, I could pass forward past these actually. I like to watch these. Only ones I need to really watch is Ikit Claw and then Grom and Kemmler. It's a really long turn. Shows me Grimgor moving, but yet I've not discovered his faction. Alright. I've got to be careful of this guy here as well, because he keeps recruiting Chosen with halberds, which are one of the few units in the game that can actually hurt my Bretonnian armies. Needs to be really good anti-large units. Chosen with halberds, Blackguard, Celestial Dragon Guard, Slayers to a degree, but Slayers won't trade very well because they've got no armour. Storm Vermin could be an issue as well for Skeven. And that again, that's where your tactics come in, because when you've got units like those that you know are a realistic threat, you need to basically hold them in place with your frontline units. So my Questing Knights will only incur my Grail Guardians with the second army. You need to hold them in place with those guys and then flank with the rest of your army. Obviously for your flyers it's easy, just fly overhead, charge into the back. But you basically need to cause enough damage that they break relatively quickly, so your front line don't get mauled. Oh, you just took him out. Yes. Think about it, is Kemmler dead?
become invincible.
I'm assuming so. He must have died and lost that then. What? They are. Faction destroyed Barrow Legion. They are the dead. That's Kemler gone.
You seek the lady's favor.
My strength and wisdom are yours.
One thing I'm not looking forward to, which Skaven obviously, I don't think we get the same benefit that these Skaven do, but basically, when you come towards the towns and cities, realistically you need a scout to go ahead of you and reveal the city and see if there's an army sat in there. Because you can see armies outside it, as long as they're not in ambush stance, but you can't see any armies in the city until it's revealed. So what you don't want then is a 420 stack coming out at you, and then two other armies that are saying the fog of war, but out of your line of sight, then force marching in to reinforce it, and suddenly you're 3-on-1. And it's like, oh shit. Skaven are the masters of fucking players over with that. Why don't we join war against Throg? Is Throg even that strong? I'll check out the strength of Throg. I mean, it looks like they're doing fine. I can't even see Throg up here. Is that him there? It's not like he's doing right well. There's 75 factions left. Ooh.
I am the
God of Shield.
Yes, Bastard Conquest got destroyed. Nice.
Making my way.
Capture that while I've got a chance.
King Lewin Limker, the lady's chosen.
It's a complete province for me. Pop that on.
Noble.
That'll give me those in 3 turns, and then in fact I could look to get rid of them anyway, couldn't I? Could. Yeah. So I'm paying what, 125 more? Yeah, fuck it. And then that's the army complete. It's a good job these haven't got supply lines as well, because if they had supply lines and the units went up in price, especially when these are reduced upkeep at 500, it'd be too much. So if they ever put supply lines onto Bretonnians, they need to drastically reduce the cost of their units. Otherwise they'll be way too expensive.
Honor before glory.
Just done quite a bit more territory though. I'll have to see how dicey it gets when I go into Skaven territory. I've just got this feeling that the Skaven are going to make a big pushback, because they're basically kicking Clan Angrund and the Wood Elves ass single-handedly. And they are stronger than me in the power bar as well. Speaking of this, my friend Saul's played the Fey Enchantress. He's had to restart her campaign like 2 or 3 times because he keeps getting rolled by the Skaven. And I know because I've played that campaign myself. When they hop the mountain between like turn 20 and 30, and they've got 3 full 20 stacks, and you've barely got 1 20 stack, and even then a lot of it's peasants, which are shit units. And you won't have like a great deal of magic on the Fey Enchantress either to like make it worthwhile. And even then they've got Icky Club of Warp Lightning, which can help. One thing you can try and do is you can try and use the Mortis Engine effect that the Fey Enchantress has got if you get into a siege, and you can bottleneck enough of their army. But she's not that good in combat. The Mortis Engine's best when it's on a if it's on a hero or lord, when they're actually able to be quite tanky and can just sit in combat, kind of like Kugath, or even like a Clan Pestilence Plague Priest. So they've got their little thing you can sit on. They can be quite durable. You need to get quite a sizable ward save for it to work, which you probably won't have at that point in the game.
Let the supplicant come forth.
Unless you're really lucky. Sure, buddy. Oh, they've taken Paravon. No. Just realised something as well. I slightly buggered up on something. It's not end of the world stuff. It's just a small thing. I don't think I can do it yet anyway, personally. I can't. It's fine. Because I can recruit from here. And it's +2 ranks. And reduced upkeep at the current cost for all my units. So I'm better off recruiting my armies in future from there. Just thinking for Lyonesse here, because the public order's a bit shit. Then again, it's not good there either. And that's with that. Because what I might do is, so I've only got the ability to build 3 buildings when I get rid of that. Obviously I want that one for the recruitment, so I can recruit the units I need. I might just build that one for the public order, and then build that one. And not build the money buildings in there, as I can on the others. And then this one could build both of these, that, and then this. So I've got loads of recruit ranks still, +1 faction wide, as well as the anti-corruption and the ability to pray to remove things. Which means I can't recruit my general units, but I'm better off doing that in the province further up anyway. Yeah, I could do that. I wonder if Durdu is willing to trade in Paravon. They're at war with Clan England. Of course they are. But we don't have bigger concerns. Fucking hell. And they'll be able to afford it. That sends it up and not down? Alright.
Waste a Grom's time by the light of the lady. Grom's too good for that. It shall be.
Yes?
This music sounds like something out of Outlast. Oh, Slovenia's not looking too hot. Oh dear. It's really hot in this fucking room though. What the fuck?
The lion.
One of my sorceress is a smuggler. Are we gaining a large income fair trade? 2,832. I suppose it's reasonable.
King Lewin. On to victory! glory awaits. I assent to your order.
Temporarily build that one in there.
A king stands with you.
Blessings of the lady be upon you.
One more turn and they're ready. I could then maybe recruit another lord. But then again, they're going to take it down by 1,000. No, I probably couldn't.
Do you wish the lady's favor?
Just got to get rid of Grom. And then we can move into Icky Close territory. Depends on what Grom's got in his army though. But I've already seen a rogue idol too, which could be an issue. Three rogue idol. Oh, his arm's injured though. Somebody wounded my paladin? Son of a bitch.
Squire Sabbath with the blood of Gilles.
I haven't pissed somebody off by walking to territory ever. And I've got merge access with all of them apart from the red one.
Warrior King.
Only reason I don't want to move to attack him, because I can attack him, is I want him to take Aquitaine. If he takes that, then I can take it back, and then I've got another 4 province.
Pious.
2 of 6. Oh, because it's classing the Green Knight as one, isn't it?
Noble son of Bretonnia. I shall fight to the death.
Get another one of those. He's back in 4 turns, but that's 4 turns away.
Yes.
Yeah, all lords now start with a questing vow. So when I do recruit a lord, one thing they've got to do is get their Grail vow.
It shall be so.
So they won't be able to have this army initially. Yeah, Grail Knights, Grail Guardians, Royal Pegasus, Natural Hippogriff Knights, they'll have to have a different army, a temporary army.
Moving out. Protector of the realm. I will indulge you.
From there I can't recover? Oh, okay. Weird.
Armored in faith. Lord and hero. Guardian.
Yeah, there's not really anything to reduce upkeep on these fuckers, is there? They're really expensive. What the hell? What just happened to Grom's army there?
You ask for a boon. Speak, and I will see if it is within my...
Why is she still wanting military alliance? Fuck it, why not? Stopped her asking. I meant to check on Throg, didn't I? Let me check on Throg, actually. Really? So Throg's got 6 settlements and his strength rank 38. For some reason the Empire and Kislev want me to join that war. Kislev has strength rank 6 with 20 settlements. What's the Empire got? Empire has strength rank 4 with 29 settlements. Both of them individually are much stronger than Throg. Combined they'll stamp on him like an insect. It's closer to the strength of Sigmar, of Volkmar. And Volkmar's 1 strength rank higher than him. What the fuck do they need me to go to war with them for? See, I wish it were things like that as well they'd think through. It's like, if they're significantly stronger than the enemy, why do they need me involved in that war? And especially when I'm nowhere near the individual. The Empire and Kislev are far closer to Throg than I am. And me going to war with him, all that might mean happening is that the AI, being the anti-AI biased piece of shit that it is, sends an army of Throg's guys, a 20 stack, into the ocean to come and assault my coastline. And then just creates me more problems than, well, another problem that I don't need.
That ain't happening.
I ride.
See, his garrison looks like the conventional garrisons. Skaldnik's garrisons are much weaker.
Very well, if you insist. If the lady wills it.
Can I look at stats on that lot? .78 melee defense. Fucking hell. And cavalry. See, theirs about the same. They've got 50 and 53. They've got 54 and 53. And these have got 45 and 51. Now see, with these two, the one that confuses me is your Grail Guardians are clearly a defensive unit. They're meant to take a charge. That's why they've got like such stupidly high melee defense. These should really have a lot more melee attack than melee defense. They should still have about 45-50 melee defense, but they should probably have more like 60 melee attack. They're an offensive charging unit. That's what they're designed as. They're not designed to sit in the front row like these guys are and soak it up. This army is good for anti-demons. as well, because the only thing that's not got magical attacks is the Royal Hippogriff Knights, which are still a bloody strong unit, and also benefit from 20% physical on top of all that fucking armour.
My strength and wisdom are yours.
What is that on buff? Knights Errant, Knights of the Realm, Questing Knights, Pegasus Knights. Actually, don't need that for this army. We need that one. Grail Knights, Grail Guardians, Royal Pegasus Knights, Royal Hippogriff Knights. That's what this army consists of. So that's what we need. We need that one. We only need that one in Luan's army, and probably in most cases your first starting army. You might sometimes upgrade it. In Luan's case, I always try not to, purely because of the upkeep reduction, because then I can afford 2 armies. Otherwise, right now, probably couldn't afford 2 armies, or maybe I could, but I'd have very little coming in, maybe even being a small minus. But because of this one trait of Luan's, Fount of Honour, minus 25% upkeep for Knights of the Realm Questing Knights, it's worth keeping them in your army. They're not as good as the Grail equivalent, but they're still a decent unit of cavalry, and it can work all the way through the late game. Just gotta not use them like a moron. Again, there's some armies that have the almost play themselves potential. There's other armies, like if you have a fully mounted army like cavalry, they don't. You've got to be careful what you do. They can't always be locked in combat. Some of the units can, which is why you do take some Questing Knights, why you do take Grail Guardians. But then there's some that can't, some that need to get in and out and cycle charge. And then even like Skarsnik's army with Nasty Skulkers, they're a low tier unit that can perform really well in early, mid and late game. But you've got to be careful how you use them. You've got to know what you're buffing them with. You've got to make sure your heroes have got the appropriate skills to support them, to debuff the enemy and buff your own troops. You can't just expect to send a unit of Skulkers against Greatswords and Skulkers win the fight, because it's probably not going to happen. And unlike these Bretonnian units that are like really heavily armoured, they can come out of most fights.
Chivalrous.
And bloody hell. They can come out of most fights relatively unscathed. And it's because of the amount of armour that they've got. The more armour you've got, the less damage your units take in auto-resolve. That's generally how it works as a rule of thumb. Which is why buildings that are sometimes laughed at, like this one, it doesn't give you there, it's only there, which gives you a +2 armour all armies, but this stacks. So every single province you've got it built in, +2 armour, it's very, very good, because if you get armour capped, your units are going to be an absolute bastard to deal with. Even 4 armour piercing units, it's still going to be a bit dicey. But then in auto-resolve, the auto-resolve potential is going to be massive.
Champion of the lady.
I can do that and pull in. Yes. I could do that. Be more interested in trying to get that off of what's his face? Oh, the dwarves are strength rank 1. See, and that's why I wiped out the dwarves early on with Skarsnik. So you know, they get these battered rolling. And even then, now these two are really fucking strong.
To war, bring forth the beer. The Bretonnians have arrived to save the day.
You talk to Mr. Forehead.
Yes, my lady welcomes the brave knights of Bretonnia to our halls. What do you wish to discuss?
I wish to discuss having Aquitaine. I mean, at least from him I can buy it, but it is 43,000, which is a lot of money for a fucking town. If it were a city, and I already got the town, or towns in that region, I might consider it. But not just for a town. But what I potentially can do is, and this is something I'm willing to make a trade on, is, although this is a city, it is in orange climate, which is not massively bad, but it's not as good as green. So what I could do is, if I can capture Massive Orcal, trade him Massive Orcal for Aquitaine, because then I get the town, which I can use to pump out some money, and I can use the commandment as well, which later on, once I've done building all the buildings, I can use to get even more money from the levy tithes. And then he can have that. So I'm going to do is I'm going to attack this guy and see what happens. Oh. The guy didn't retreat. Wow. Now that's probably also because the Wood Elves joined me in the fight, and Wood Elves are stupidly strong in auto-resolve as well. Bretonnians are when you get like all night units.
Strength and honor. You seek the lady's favor. King Luan Leonker.
Right, what I can do is now then, see if they want to trade. Before I build anything up, see if he wants to trade.
The forest! I am drawn to the nobility of your cause, Bretonnia.
I can't trade him Massive Orcal. Why? It's adjacent. He owns that there. That's not adjacent, I don't know what the fuck is.
King Luan.
Yeah, I can build both of those in defences. I won't be recruiting much from here anyway, but I suppose that's for capacity, I suppose, into paladins. Not as much needed as damsels, but still.
blessings of the lady be upon you. Do you know who I am?
And obviously here, you need 6 points to be able to get rally. You might as well take the ones that's got other knights in it, just in case you need to for any reason. There's no point taking the others because you don't want those units. Those, maybe you might have archers at early game at best, the shit, you don't want those. And you might, every now and then, maybe take a trebuchet. But personally, artillery don't work well.
No! Valiant lord. It shall be so. Taking my leave.
Artillery don't work well with all melee armies, and especially not fast attacking ones that are like full of cavalry, because you don't want to sit back and let the artillery fire. You want to get your cavalry in as quick as possible to stop the enemy from firing. You want to get them into combat where they're going to do the most damage. You don't want to be sat back with your artillery trying to do a ranged army stuff. You can build ranged armies with Bretonnians, it's just not that effective, because peasants' leadership is shit, as it is with anyone that has peasant units. It's like that faction's version of slaves, they just don't work well. And they're not natural born and bred and trained warriors. They're peasants who have a day job. So they're just not good at it. They're just not. You only use them basically if you have to. Once you can start getting even like Knights Errant. Knights Errant aren't knights that will work in the late game. They might work in some of the mid game, depending on what they're fighting against. But even they're not great for it. But in the early game they'll work fine. But that's basically what you want to get. You want to get Knights Errant first. Even if you get like a full army of them. But you want Knights Errant and then to move into Knights of the Realm and Questing Knights when you get the chance and can afford to do so. But you basically want armies of knights, and that's the same with whatever Bretonnian legendary lord that you play. And even if at some point they do bring in other legendary lords, you'll still want armies of knights. That's what the Bretonnian people is geared towards. They are mainly knights, mounted knights. The one unit they are missing, which is an on-foot unit, is good, is they do have sometimes an on-foot paladin, and it's like the hero, but it's obviously the heroes isn't mounted though, but it's a unit that is on foot, and they'd stand above basically foot squires, and they're just called foot knights or foot paladins in some cases. They've been called in some books. And they wield one-handed sword and a shield. They're heavily armoured, well trained, and they exist in two ways they've done it. One is they wanted to continue to fight on foot. They didn't want to be mounted on horseback. They preferred to fight on foot. So, kind of like the Empire's version of great swords, these guys are like your on-foot sword and shield masters, but obviously great swords wield a two-handed sword. Or the other one is, there's some knights who've lost their horse, or their hippogriff, or their pegasus, if they're mounted, and some knights develop a deep emotional attachment to their mount. And when their mount dies, especially if it dies in battle, if it dies of like old age or sickness, they are usually willing to take another mount. But if they die in battle, which is the most like noble death for a steed of that type, some don't want to take on another mount. They basically want to cherish the memory of their mount, so they've then chosen to be only on foot from that point forward. So when they come round to reworking Bretonnians, I'd be very happy to see CA include the foot knights or foot paladins, whatever they want to call them. I mean, if you've already got Paladin as a hero, they could call them the Foot Knights. I'd probably be better for it. So there's less confusion. But basically, they'd be probably roughly about the same size, I think, as the Foot Squires in terms of like entities in a unit. But they're just much better at it. They'll have really high melee defense. The melee attack would be like probably 40s, 50s would be in that ballpark. And then they're going to be quite a decent unit. They're going to have high leadership, access to the blessing as well because they're a knight unit, not a peasant unit. But you won't see them dual wielding or using two-handed weapons. They pretty much primarily use sword and shield. And then what they'll probably do is they use their experience from fighting on horseback, or at least training against horseback. They'll probably have like charge defense against all, or charge defense against large targets, because they'll know how to deal with a cavalry charge, being that the faction specialises in it. And then have most like the knight traits, like probably being like immune psychology, that sort of stuff. But they're the one decent foot unit that you can have. But they would be knights on foot. Now let's see if I can trade it.
Orion, I welcome you to the King's Glade. Sit. We have much to discuss.
I still can't trade it. Apparently it's not tradable.
Indeed.
Lord of the Glade, the woods of Athelloren. Azray, the woods of Athelloren welcome you. Deliver your message.
Ready to serve. Going forth. The lady wills it.
What's this guy trying to do?
Lord. For now, yes. I shall do what I can.
This music is like really melancholic. Really weird.
I am the blood of Gilles. My journey begins.
Why did I take damage walking through that? I shouldn't take damage until the turn after. It's really weird.
My reputation precedes me. If the
And
lady
actually, if he's
wills
gonna.
it shall be so.
We'll have to see. Has he
My
taken?
reputation precedes me.
Yeah, he has basic training, yeah.
Yes?
Protector of the realm.
Guardian!
Um, why does she only start at recruit level 1? They don't get any extra ranks at all. Oh, that's kind of shit. Well, for her, I will give her that one, fleet-footed, because fleet-footed for her is actually not bad. So it means she's 20% faster, more so when she gets mounted, but it keeps her out of trouble. And then she's got Strider, so she's not affected by terrain. Yeah, can get her out of dodge.
Lord!
Just get those two recruited, they can start leveling. I'm not going to worry about recruiting units yet, we need more territory. Especially when it's going to cost basically that. Actually, it's going to cost more than that because I don't think you pay anything for the Green Knight. So you're going to be putting another 364 on top, so you're going to be talking close to 8,000 for an army. And I need to get him the Grail Vow.
Protector of the realm.
Unless I go with a questing army, I suppose. I could do Port Questing Knights, Port Grail Knights, and then when he's got the Vow, some Royal Hippogriff Knights and Pegasus Knights on the back end. But obviously these armies are very expensive. Extremely strong. Strongest army you're going to get, but very expensive. Right, well, we're about to make a push into Ikit Close territory then, but I'm going to leave this part here for today. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, leave a like. If you're around here, please drop a sub, help grow the channel, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care everyone, and have a great day.